Okay, let me make... Yep, the microphones are working. That's a good start.
Is that good? I've always wanted to try that.
What is it?
It's a Leinenkugel summer shandy.
Oh,
it's very refreshing.
Out on so much.
I know. God, that sucks, Rachel.
It really is not as hard as you think, but sometimes it's just like, what if I had a drink right now?
Okay, but I would like to mention that you've had so much time to drink, and I'm turning 20 this weekend. I still have a year.
You're turning 20? Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were already 20. Damn it. Miranda.
I know. It's embarrassing, honestly.
You know, it's funny. I remember when I was young, that young, when I was that age. I remember, Missy, when I was your age. And
oh my gosh.
I know. That
should have never mentioned my age.
I realized that that's what I sounded like, so I just went with it. I remember when I could not yet formally go to the bars and drink, and all my friends were giving me alcohol. I will not mention who those friends were, but they were good people.
You know, I'm in college and I don't have friends that will get me alcohol, and it's kind of depressing. I could get more alcohol when I was in high school.
I mean, if you just go to the bar with a bunch of people and you order a drink, they're not going to card you.
Yeah, and it sucked, is my point.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I couldn't do anything or go anywhere, and
it's true.
Sucked.
It's true, and when you're around this age, it's like everybody that you know can drink, typically, you know? So it's just, you can't really do anything.
It took forever to turn 21.
It's okay. You're not missing out on that much. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't miss it as much as I thought I would, but I was not, like, a huge drinker. I would have, like, a glass of wine with dinner or whatever, but I don't really miss it at all. Every once in a while, I'm like now that it's getting warm, I'm like, oh my god, like a margarita. That's really, like a frozen margarita sounds great.
I made those the other day.
I'll just have to have, like, a Shirley Temple pina colada.
Shirley Temples are underrated. They're really good.
They are good.
So sweet. Oh, this is a horror podcast.
Here we are.
Oh god, did you hear that sound?
The sirens?
No, that was just convenient. I meant, no, because today we're going to talk about home invasion movies.
I totally
There goes
that.
my career as a comedian. No.
Miranda's like, what noise?
It doesn't matter.
Oh my god.
If you're funny, if no one gets your jokes.
Try it again, I know what's going on now.
No, it's okay. It's funnier that you didn't get it, because that was a really lame joke. Oh, home invasion movies. Oh my goodness, we have so much to talk about. We're gonna go in order from probably the oldest one to the newest one, because we just so happen to pick some movies that were a little spaced out. Rachel's is like an outlier, which is awesome.
Spaced out, guys.
So, yeah.
I like a lot of older movies, so I want to try and do some older movies, because I feel like we do a lot of recent ones.
We do. You're right. We need
There's so many good older movies.
Mm-hmm.
We need to correct that. Oh, wait, before you start, I have a thing. We are going to be featured on a webzine that my friend and I started, but then I got too busy with this podcast to do anything with the webzine. It's called The Rabbit Hole, and it's a webzine for all things nerdy, all things pop culture, and it's mostly run by women. So
is this the one, the group that you originally invited to?
Yeah.
I never got, didn't they make a new group? I never got transferred over to that new group,
really?
So I was just
I can fix that, because I'm still an admin on it, I think. Okay. But anyway, I wrote a short article about the origin of this podcast, because it's so old. We've been doing it for so long. But I wrote my thoughts down about, why I wanted to start it in particular. And she's going to be featuring that article on the Rabbit Hole website, which I have no idea what the link is to that, but I'll get it for you for the end of the episode, because I don't feel like looking it up right now. It's great advertising. So that's my thing.
Don't mind me. I'm just sitting here eating my ice cream.
Miranda's just going to eat.
That's okay. So, I'll start. So the movie that I picked is called Wait Until Dark. It came out in 1967. I don't know if it's really classified as horror. It's more like psychological terror thriller type movie. So to me that counts as horror. And originally I was actually going to do this movie for our disabilities episode, but I decided to hold off. So this movie stars Audrey Hepburn and Alan Arkin. And Audrey Hepburn plays this woman named Susie. And through this kind of convoluted set of events, her husband accidentally comes into possession of this, it's like an old-fashioned baby doll filled with heroin.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, he meets this woman at an airport, and, like, I can't remember what story she gives him, but it's something totally plausible. Like, hey, can you just take this doll for me, and I'll come get it from you in a couple days? And he's, like, trying to be nice and help her out, so he's like, okay. And so he takes it, and it has heroin in it. So this group of criminals, who are, of course, trying to get the drugs, realize that the doll is in this apartment. The husband is a photographer, and they send him out on this fake assignment that's going to take him, like, 3 hours to get there and 3 or 4 hours to get back. So he's going to be gone all day and all night, pretty much. And they figure that they can get the doll easily from his wife, Susie, who is blind. And she is someone who's recently blind. She wasn't born blind. She was in a car accident. You get the sense that she's kind of been struggling with being blind. And so they start impersonating all of these different people to gain access to her apartment. They impersonate a cop saying, you know, oh, the woman who gave your husband that doll is dead, and we think he may have killed her, like hinting that, like, they were having some kind of affair, and he killed this woman. And so it's her and 3 criminals, and she starts to become suspicious as they continue to enter her apartment, and she can hear that they are searching her house while they're talking to her. So she starts to become suspicious that everything is not on the up and up. So she and the little girl in the apartment above her come up with this plan to kind of outsmart these con men, and it's a good plan. And one of the con men, Alan Arkin's character, ends up killing the other 2 and going after Susie, deciding that he's going to kill her. So he comes into her apartment, and he basically begins to terrorize her. And he, you know, follows her around the apartment. He's threatening her. At one point, he, like, pins her up against the wall with a knife. Like, clearly he's going to, you know, rape her. So she ends up gaining the upper hand on him by breaking all of the light bulbs in her apartment so that they are on an even playing field. And then they have their final confrontation, which I'm not going to describe because I feel like if I described it, it would sound really lame. But it's extremely suspenseful, extremely well done, very scary. It's just such a good movie. It's such a good movie. So one of the things that I love about this movie is that her disability is not a hindrance. It's actually a plus. When she breaks the light bulbs, she is now at an advantage. Because she is blind, she knows every single inch of this tiny apartment. I mean, she knows how far the furniture is from the wall. She knows where every piece of furniture is. She knows where every corner is. Everything. So he is crashing into things, and she can hear him coming as she's trying to get away. It's very suspenseful. It's based on a play, which I've also seen it on stage, and it's still very suspenseful on stage.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It's just a good example, I think, of a movie where it's this woman and this little girl who team up to take down these criminals. And I like that they take them down together. I mean, a blind woman and a kid, that they don't wait for her husband to come home, you know, because she knows he's not going to be home. And, of course, this is the 60s, no cell phones. How do you reach somebody if they're hours away in a park waiting to photograph some people who are, of course, never going to show up? Well, you can't. It's so good. It's very suspenseful, very scary, really well shot. The director is great. And Audrey Hepburn was nominated for an Oscar for this. I think it was her last Oscar nomination. She probably should have won, but, you know, life's not fair.
Who'd she lose out to, do you know?
She lost out to Katharine Hepburn for Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which also, like, great performance, amazing movie, so, like, you can't really hate on it.
Yeah.
But another thing that I like about it is that the portrayal of her being blind is not pandering. She's not wearing sunglasses the whole time. Her eyes are not closed the whole time. She doesn't have, like, her arms out, and she's, like, flailing around. You know, a lot of the time I think portrayals of blind people on screen are pretty offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And this, for being the 60s, I mean, I think is a pretty great portrayal, especially considering the time period. So it's just kind of a fun, scary movie. I guess when it was showing in the theater during the final confrontation, theater owners would lower the lights as low as they could and then one by one turn them off as she was breaking the light bulbs throughout the apartment, so that the audience would be in pitch black darkness with her.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's one of the other things. It's like, back in the day, they used to do all that kind of fun stuff with movies, and, like, I feel like nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
I don't think they can, because it'd be too dangerous.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a different time.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, I mean, of course you didn't have stuff on your TV that you could watch. I mean, if you wanted to go see the movie, you had to go to the theater. Or, you know, you'd wait and maybe you could catch it on TV a couple years later.
So they invested a lot of more energy in that sort of experience.
Exactly. This movie is great. It's highly recommended. Audrey Hepburn's always great, and Alan Arkin plays the main villain, and he's amazing in it too. And they're pretty well matched throughout the movie. So yeah, highly recommended. My fun little movie. There's like not a deeper meaning to it. There's no like, you know, life lesson that you're gonna take from it, but it's still a really good spooky movie. And like I said, the ending is extremely suspenseful, I think.
Would you say that it's similar to Don't Breathe?
It is, in a sense. I mean, I would put it more similar to Hush, I guess. That's because she's the one being terrorized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're obviously not rooting for the villains in this. Like, they're pretty bad. One of the con men is kind of portrayed as, like, kind of sympathetic, like maybe not a terrible guy. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to hurt her. He just wants the drugs. Alan Arkin's character is, like, willing to kill her and the little girl to get the drugs.
Does the little girl die? I can't remember if you said that. No? Okay, that's good.
No. Susie sends the little girl to the bus station to wait for her husband to come back. Yeah, so she gets out, but it's very well done.
Yeah, it sounds great.
It's so good. Oh my god.
I want to know what happens.
I don't know that it's streaming anywhere, which is too bad, but you can get it for real cheap on DVD on Amazon. It's like $4.99.
I like to do that. I like to buy DVDs on Amazon. Even if I have a Shudder subscription now, but...
That's surprising, because Shudder mostly has, like, older movies.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's not straight horror.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely more psychological terror, but to me that counts as horror. I mean, I think the end is pretty scary. Oh, and the score is also great, which is something that I remember from it, is Henry Mancini did the score, and it's so good that you, like, notice it, which is something that I don't usually notice in movies.
Now, was this one, I don't know if I'm going to sound like an idiot, was this one black and white, or was it in color?
No.
I can't remember.
No.
Okay.
No, 67, it's in color.
Okay. I can't remember when they started putting color into movies. I'm bad with dates. I'm awful.
60s?
Late 50s?
Maybe the late 50s?
Yeah, because The Wizard of
Gone
Oz...
with the Wind is in color, that's 1939.
Did they redo it with color, though? Because there's a lot of movies that are from the 50s that aren't...
No, this movie came out in color. Oh, Gone with the Wind?
Yeah.
No, Gone with the Wind was always in color.
Oh.
I'm trying to think.
Well, that doesn't sound right, because...
39?
Invasion of the Body Snatchers came out, I believe, in the 50s, and it was in black and white.
They were still doing black and white movies. Actually, in the Oscars, up until a certain time period, they would have two, like, cinematography awards. One for color, one for black and white.
Oh.
Because your cinematography was just different. But I'm thinking, like, late 50s probably when every movie started coming out in color. But someone correct me if I'm wrong, because that's literally, I just pulled that out of my ass. So
Miranda's looking it up, I think.
But I know that Gone with the Wind, well, because Wizard of Oz came out in 1939, and that's in color.
It's all this says is before 1932, 3-strip Technicolor was introduced.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's a lot earlier than I thought.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that early.
Yeah, but I think then after that it became kind of a directorial choice whether or not to use black and white or color.
Exactly. Like I said, Wizard of Oz is also 1939, and that was in color.
I believe Invasion of the Body Snatchers was black and white. I thought The Blob was, too.
No, not Kevin McCarthy. Wait, is it Kevin McCarthy?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Kevin somebody. But yes, it is in black and white.
That's what I thought.
There are movies that I know I've seen from the 50s that are in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, they I'm guessing late 50s, early 60s is when it became, like, when did To Kill a Mockingbird come out?
I don't know.
Hang on. Now I want to know.
I thought Wizard of Oz was released in black and white.
The first half of Wizard of Oz is in black and white, and then when she goes to Oz, it's in color.
Yeah.
Oh,
but on TV...
I thought it was in black and white to begin with.
Mm-mm.
The whole thing.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, that was the thing.
When you watch it on TV a lot of the time, it would only be in black and white because most people only had a black and white TV.
Ah, okay.
But no. It was originally when she went to Oz, it was in color.
Okay.
So, I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird came out in 62, and that's in black and white.
Older people are going to be like, these youngins, they
Yeah.
don't know anything.
Well, I should probably just call my mom, but she's probably asleep by now.
At least we're not talking about, like, how to write a check or something. We know that.
I'm trying to Google it, like, when did movies become all color? But I don't know how else to phrase it.
That's how I Googled it, and it didn't, I don't know, I didn't click on any links.
When did using color in film become the norm? From the mid-1960s, black and white was unusual.
So now
we know. So anyway, this movie is in color.
Okay.
This is also an information
long
podcast.
story. Very long story short.
That's okay, but now look at all these
things we've learned
today.
Yeah.
There's your history lesson on film for the day.
Okay.
Exactly.
I know things I didn't know before.
Exactly. But yes, it's a great movie, and the stage show is also great if you have an opportunity to see it on stage.
I would love to see it on stage before I see the film, because that is just so awesome.
Yeah,
I think
that'd be
that
really
could be
cool.
staged so well.
Yeah.
Playcrafters in the Quad Cities did it, and that's when I saw it on stage.
Ooh.
So even just the community theater production, I mean, was really good.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Miranda is next.
Oh, yay.
I think.
Okay, so I picked High Tension. It is a French movie, and unfortunately, I did not get to watch a version with subtitles. I got to watch a version where they dubbed over. So it was, I hate movies like that. They make me so uncomfortable.
Why? They're so believable.
And parts of it were still in French. It was like, there were moments where it was still in French, and then they gave me subtitles. So...
What, did they just get too lazy to dub the whole thing and then half of it was subtitles?
I don't know. I have no idea what happened.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it was weird. It was the version on Shudder. So, but yeah, it's a French movie. It was directed by Alexander Aja, which when I did research on him, he's sort of a big deal French horror director. I haven't watched anything else of his, but he's pretty well known. So, High Tension. Oh, it came out in 2003. Are we saying the dates? Or are we not? Okay, so High Tension came out in 2003, and it's about these two girls, Marie and Alex. They are staying with Alex's parents, and a man breaks into the house and proceeds to kill the family and kidnap Alex. Marie is in the house, and he has no idea that she's there. It's pretty tense when they're in the house because I don't know how she manages it, but she was... my notes, I just have written multiple times, she's freaking brilliant with the things that she did. Like, when she heard the guy coming, she picked up her whole room and took all of her stuff and hid it, and then put the bed back together so it looked like nobody was even in there.
Wow, that I would have been screwed.
She even cleaned out the sink so there wasn't water in the sink. I haven't seen anybody do that. I thought that was brilliant. And the guy came in and he didn't see anything, and you think she's hiding in the shower. She's not hiding in the shower. She's hiding under the bed. Well, I don't know how she knew that he was going to look under the bed, but he lifted up the corner of the mattress and you don't see anything there, and then it pans to like her under the bed and she's like all scrunched up, and then she like stretches out. So she like curled herself up so he couldn't see her in that corner. I just thought she was brilliant. And I thought this guy was brilliant too, because he was checking he checked the sink to see like if it was wet, which I've never seen a killer do, like go into a house and be like, oh, is there anybody here? And like check the sinks and everything. I thought that was interesting.
Someone got away from Richard Ramirez because he went upstairs to kill somebody and he didn't know that someone was sleeping on the couch downstairs.
Oh my gosh.
Like, they didn't do anything there just to sleep. If he had chosen to walk downstairs, and Richard Ramirez got away with killing a whole bunch of people, I can't remember how many.
Yeah.
He just decided not to go downstairs, and that person lived.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
That's crazy. He must have been pissed at himself.
Yeah, if he ever found out. I don't know. He's kind of a dweeb, though, like, at the end there. I mean, everyone chased him through the neighborhood, and people were trying to, like, hit him with rakes and stuff.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
It was like a good old-fashioned witch hunt.
That's awesome.
So.
That's great. So, this killer reminded me... Have either of you seen Maniac? It's an 80s movie. He reminded me of Maniac a little bit, just because he was, like, big and, like, kind of greasy and gross, and you didn't even see his face, which was interesting. Like, the way that they filmed him, it was always, like, his hat was covering his face, or you were seeing him from the side, or if you did see his face, it was, like, it was brief, like, and it wasn't a big deal. So they really almost didn't even make him a big deal throughout. Except for the fact that he was kidnapping Alex, and Marie was trying to, you know, help her and everything. But there are some really good kills in this movie that I really appreciated. In the house, the dad, this was really fucked up, honestly. He stabs the dad when the dad comes down the stairs, and then the dad's trying to crawl away, and he's crawling up the stairs. He shoves the dad's head through the rungs, like on the stairs, pushes the dad's head through, and then he takes a dresser and he smashes the dresser into his head, so it like breaks his neck. Oh my gosh, it was grisly. It was gross. But then there's a time when he kills the mom and he slits her throat. And it's like, oh my gosh, like it was a deep cut and you could really see it and everything and the blood sprayed. It was awesome. Like if you like, I love gore, so I really loved the gore in this movie. Are you not a fan of gore?
I mean, I love to watch it, but I love that reaction I have. You know, I really do respond to it if I let myself and I don't like close myself off from it. I really do respond to it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm making all those faces at you. It's cool.
I love it. But he, you know, we find out that he, like, chained up Alex and everything, and he takes her out, and Marie ends up in the van, or in his old truck, and I don't want to go through the whole plot, but they get to a point where Marie is following them in a car. She's following him and everything. He gets behind her, all that kind of stuff. But they end up at a point where she kills him. And so she kills him, and as she's coming back, you know, they cut to the police who are watching security cameras from a gas station that they stopped at because this killer killed a gas station attendant. And they cut back to this gas station and we see, okay, this is a huge spoiler. So if you don't want to hear, like, the big spoiler, I don't want to get your guys' shit. So just, like, stop it and fast forward.
It's kind of hard to talk about a movie without talking about the end of it sometimes.
Which, I'm sorry, but I saw it coming the whole time. But we find out that it was Marie that was killing everybody. That she killed everybody. She killed the gas station attendant. She kidnapped Alex. Like, this was all her the whole time. And so, once we see that, we see why Alex has, like, not been responding to her well. Like, you think the whole time that it's just because she's, like, panicking because she's being kidnapped, but in reality it's because Marie is kidnapping her and killed her whole family. Oh, I forgot to mention, when they're at the house, her younger brother is there, and the younger brother is killed. And I really, like, I don't know, like, I really didn't like that. I feel like that crosses a line a little bit when you kill children in a movie.
I don't know.
But I guess it's fair game, but for me it was kind of like, oh gosh, you went there.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that, like, it's a horror movie and I think everyone's fair game. Yeah. Like The Witch. I was surprised, though, because I think they tend to avoid that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they do tend to avoid it a bit. The baby that got turned to mush, I was extremely surprised that they went through with that. But
yeah. I mean, it's definitely a big decision. Yeah. But I don't know. They, like, the kid got shot with a shotgun.
Oh, that's not good.
And you, like, see his body laying in the cornfield and everything. So I was kind of like, I didn't really need to see that. I got the idea that he was dead, but that's fine, whatever. So, yeah, and basically Marie goes back to the van and is trying to get Alex out, and she's like, everything's okay, everything's fine, I got you, or, you know, we're safe. And she, like, gets Alex, gets all of her chains off of her and whatnot, and Alex is, like, threatening her with a knife, and she's like, get away from me, and
She's like, bitch, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, that'd be kind of fucked up if your killer out of nowhere is like, I killed him, it's all good. You know?
What's fucking wrong with you?
Yeah. But there's a chase scene and like a bunch of stuff that happens after that, which I liked. The chase scene was interesting because when Marie is chasing Alex, you like see her as this killer, and then you also see her as Marie, so it like bounces back and forth. So you get the idea like she feels like she's being like this big killer and everything, but then at the same time it's Marie. So I thought that sequence was really good. But it ends apparently in a very controversial way. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but I guess a lot of people do. Marie is in... Do you know if she's in a psych ward or if she's in in the police station?
No, she's in psych ward.
Okay, that's what I thought. So she's sitting in the psych ward and she's chained up and everything, and Alex is outside, and there's glass there, and Alex turns. Well, she's looking in at Marie, and then Alex turns and she says, "She can't see me, right?" And then Marie turns and smiles and then sticks her hands out. And she's obviously like chained up, so she can't really stick her hands out that far, but she sticks her hands out towards Alex and she's smiling, and then that's how it ends. I didn't mind the ending, but I also didn't really like the twist that much.
That's what people hate, is the twist.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone complain about the ending, but it's the twist.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, this movie was great, and then there was the twist.
Yeah. It was a fantastic slasher until that happened, which, I mean, I didn't, hate it, but at the same time, it was so much better when that wasn't the storyline, you know?
Right.
So
it just felt like, what was the point of the twist?
Yeah. Well, and I felt like in the beginning they gave it away, because the movie starts with Marie having a dream that she's being chased in the woods, and then later on we hear her talking to Alex about it, and she says that she was being chased in this dream, but she was the one chasing her. Mm. So, when I heard that, I was like, okay, I know what it's going to be now. I felt like they gave it away right in the beginning. So I guess I saw it coming. But something that confused me about it was the fact that also in the beginning, we see this van and we see the kidnapper get out of, it's like he's sawing something, and then we see him throw a woman's head out the van, and then he drives away. But I got the idea that this happened at the same time that Marie and Alex were driving to Alex's family's home.
Oh, the ending defies all laws of physics. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, I don't think you can make sense out of it, and that's kind of one of my big issues with it.
It was weird. I don't know.
Because you just keep going, what about this? What about this? Yeah. What about this? You can't even go well, maybe they wanted us to think this because of what they've shown you. I haven't seen it, so I'm just trying to get it from the picture that you're painting. I'll have to watch it, though, because it sounds interesting.
It was good. It was good. And like I said, it had some really good kills in it, which I appreciated. There was a lot of blood. But yeah, it was just that twist kind of, I don't know. It seemed too obvious, and it was questionable. But overall, I think it was a good movie. It wasn't awful. I'd probably watch it again.
It's hard to find it in a non-dubbed version, which is too bad.
Yeah.
Because you're right that the dubbing is horrendous.
Yeah, you just can't watch them when they talk. That's what I realized.
No, the dubbing is horrible.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why it's dubbed.
Yeah, I don't know either. It would have been much better if it was just subtitles. I don't really care about subtitles. But
yeah.
The dubbing was so weird. Because every time I would, look up while they were talking and, look at the screen, it would confuse me almost for a second, because we use mouth movements so much when we're trying to understand people talk, and it being completely different, I just don't like it.
Yeah, I think dubs kind of jar me out of the experience a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, these words don't match up with their mouths, and that's all I can think of the entire time. I'd rather just hear the language inflected.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rachel.
The dubbing works is Godzilla, where they're really cheesy, and you can just dubbing.
I loved those as a kid.
If you're a serious movie, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Bizarre choice. And like you said, there are scenes where they're swearing, but it's in French, and those have subtitles.
Yeah.
Did the people dubbing it not want to say the bad words, or what?
Apparently.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes there's really not, a translation.
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't think of an example, of course, right now, but when you say a phrase that's really bad in French, it's like, this doesn't make any sense to me in English. There's a term of endearment where you call someone your little cabbage.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes sense in... What?
Mon petit chou.
Yeah, you call someone
My
your little cabbage. And if you just saw that, you'd be like, what?
No, but you could do an approximate translation. You could be like, oh, my little whatever.
Sweetheart or something. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you're right about that.
Something else I failed to mention, it's not a huge deal, but there is a scene when the kidnapper or killer or whatever we want to call him shows up in the first time. Marie is upstairs and she is masturbating. And I thought that had to have some kind of significance, but I also thought it was different because how often do you see women masturbating in movies?
Black Swan.
Only when they're crazy.
Yep. Oh.
That's
the only other time I can think of a big masturbation scene in a movie. Have you guys seen Mulholland Drive? Okay, well, I won't spoil the twist then in that because that twist is great. But there is a scene where one of the female characters who is clearly off her rocker is like furiously masturbating.
Furiously.
That's the only way that I can think of to describe it. It looks painful.
Oh my god. Jeez. But, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I did not see Black Swan, but...
You should see it. It's unlike
It doesn't seem like something
things.
I would like, though, so that's why I didn't...
Do you like movies with an unreliable narrator?
I don't know.
It's like the ultimate unreliable narrator. I'm not entirely sure that anything that happened in Black Swan actually happened.
Oh, that's interesting.
One of us is going to have to do that sometime for some category of film, because there's a lot of discussion that can happen about that movie.
Does it count as horror, though? I didn't think it was.
I think it's a mindfuck of a movie.
Psychological.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thriller.
I have it filed in with my horror movies, psychological thrillers, stuff like that, suspenseful stuff.
Okay, I guess I'll have to check
It's
it
got
out.
some weird elements to it that you wouldn't think... that psychological thrillers don't normally have. Some kind of... Well, you're not sure if this stuff is actually happening, but they show you some very supernatural stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, I've heard that it was just like a really, like, beyond strange movie. Like,
it is.
Just things that you don't, I guess, expect to see are in it and everything like that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to see it.
It's definitely unique. It's something.
Yeah. All right, well, I don't know that I really have anything more to say about High Tension. I would recommend it. I think it was a good movie. And I don't feel like I ruined the twist, because like I said, I felt like it was so obvious in the beginning.
Well, and the big thing with that movie is the twist.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can really talk about it without talking about the twist ending.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it.
Okay. I'm writing down. And now I have more movies that I need to watch. I'm taking notes now because I always forget stuff we talk about.
Well, you can find High Tension on Shudder.
Okay. Yeah, I need to use that more. Since I'm paying a whole $2.50 a month for it.
Should we mention $2.50? It's $5 a month.
Jake and I split it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, what the hell? Am I like being overcharged?
Yeah, you're getting ripped off.
$5 is ridiculous.
No.
Should we mention what Shudder is?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we could.
So, Shudder is basically just, I tell people it's a horror version of Netflix. It's just a streaming service that has a ton of horror movies on it. It's kind of questionable, like, what kind of movies you'll find. There's a lot of older stuff. They have classics. Sometimes they have exclusives. Like, they have Rob Zombie's 31 on there. That came out before it came out on disc.
They have The Witches. No. What's it called? The Devils. Everybody should watch it.
Shudder's $5 a month, so it's not like a waste of money.
Especially if you have a roommate you can split it with.
And you get, what, like a 2-week free trial or something?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So you can try it out, and if you don't like the selection, you can always cancel it and not get charged.
Mm-hmm. But don't they always have, I think, like Netflix, I think monthly they put stuff up and take stuff down. They have original movies they're starting to do.
Well, they actually put stuff up, like, every week, I do believe. They're, like, constantly putting new stuff up. I don't know if they take anything down, though, because they don't have, like, a huge selection quite yet, so I don't know that they're taking anything down. I'm trying to remember who started Shudder. I want to say Eli Roth had something to do with it, but that could be wrong. I don't know. But it was a big director, horror director, that had a lot to do with the creation of Shudder.
Now Shudder can pay us for free advertising.
Yeah, what the heck?
That wouldn't be free.
We should totally get a hold of them. Be like, hey
look, 25 more people are going to know about Shudder. They didn't already, because we mentioned it. It's how you hook people in.
You're going to be like, yeah, thanks. That's great.
Rachel's already seen The Stranger, so I can just start my synopsis probably. That'll be probably fine.
I'm one of, like, the 2 people in the world who hasn't seen The Strangers.
So, I picked The Strangers. I think it was made in 2009. It's one of the most popular modern home invasion movies. I chose it to kind of, like, set something straight about it, particularly the fact that it was based on true events, which they really like to throw in anytime.
Yep.
But a quick plot synopsis, they tell you it's about this couple that is murdered with their friend, and that this actually happened. But no such thing ever happened, and I'll get to that a little bit later. So they tell you in the beginning, though, that this is a real murder. And basically, this couple has been out at a wedding, and they come home to the boyfriend's father's... Like, it's the house he grew up in. It's way out in the middle of nowhere, and it's this damn nice house that you can tell was built in the 70s. It's like this really wide open, spacious, with a fireplace, hardwood floors, everything. It's great. Mm-hmm. They come back, but they've had a really bad night because he's proposed to her, and she said no.
Oh, shit.
And so it's really sad and awkward. Mm-hmm. And what I like about this movie is that nothing happens for like 20 minutes, which is great because it establishes the characters and you caring about what happens to the characters without them really saying much. They just, like, she's crying, and they're come home at, like, 4 a.m., and they just don't know what to say to each other. And she goes and takes a bath, but he's strewn the whole place with rose petals and stuff, and had, like, a nice dinner set out, and it's just really sad to begin with. You almost start forgetting that terrible things are gonna happen to these people. And they're like, what do we do? And they're like, I don't know what we do now. But it's clear they're still in love, but she's just not. He sprung it on her kind of out of nowhere.
I just want to say, like, that's a fear of mine. I was just having a conversation with my friend. Like, first of all, I don't like surprises. And second of all, I don't ever want a guy to propose to me unless we've talked about this ahead of time. Right. Because I don't like to hurt people's feelings. And I don't want to be put in that situation where I have to say no.
It basically ruins the relationship because it's like, oh, clearly you're in a place where I'm not right now.
Yeah.
And that's super awkward. And now I feel like I don't know how to communicate with you. Eventually, she goes, I'm out of cigarettes, and he says he'll go get some more, so he goes off to go to the gas station, and that's when, I'm not going to summarize this whole thing, because it's a very long series of intricate movements. This whole thing is choreographed really well. Before she left, they had someone knock on the door and ask, is Tamra here? Damn, there's no Tamra that lives there. And then it happened again when the guy left. And then it happened again.
Oh my gosh.
And she's not answering the door at this time. She's yelling through the door, you already came by here, you need to leave, because she's not stupid. And then she notices, like, she's hearing sounds in the house.
Oh no.
And that her cell phone is gone.
Oh my god.
And she had just plugged it in to charge it, and she calls her boyfriend to say, you need to come home, can you stay on the phone with me? But then the phone line goes dead. So by the time he gets home, she's in the bedroom with a knife in the corner, just cowering. And one thing I didn't like was that he comes in and he says, what's wrong? And she says, there are people in this house, I swear to God. And she's cut her hand on the lamp trying to get it to use it as like a battering, like to bludgeon someone with it. And he's basically saying, you need to calm down. It's nothing. Now, if Paul came home and I was in the corner of the bedroom crying with a cut on my hand with a knife, and I said there were some people in the house, you can damn well believe that he would understand that and not think I'm just being a woman, basically. Is what I got out of that. I don't know.
Well, you see that so much in movies. Like, the guy is always like, oh my god, you just need to calm down. Like, there's nothing going on.
Like Paranormal Activity?
You need to chill. Yeah.
That's why I couldn't stand that movie.
What the hell? Like, that doesn't even happen in real life. At least, not in my experience. I haven't ever met a guy who, like you said, if I were cowering in the corner and I was like, there's somebody in this house, I've never met a guy that would be like, oh my god, you need to calm down.
Yeah, I mean, who would do that? If somebody, unless I did that all the time, and I don't know, but who does that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but you can almost believe his reaction because Liv Tyler is the girl, and she's this just ethereally beautiful woman who looks so soft and just like is very soft-mannered in this movie, and you could just believe that he would think that she got spooked, by something, although that doesn't mean that she can't defend herself when she wants to. So then they go through and they start searching the house, and these people are messing with them. There are 3. There's 2 women and a man with masks on. And their friend is coming to pick him up because the proposal didn't turn out right. Finds his dad's gun eventually because he's like super freaked out. His dad's shotgun, and they crawl into the closet. It's really smart though, with all the ammo, and they sit in the corner because there's one entrance to that room, and they're waiting for the people to come. Well, the friend shows up. And they shoot him he shoots him in the face on accident, and it's really sad. Like, you don't care a lot about people, I think, in movies where they're going to be picked off one by one. But I just cared about these people for some reason, and I thought it was just awful that and it's not a pretty wound either. It's bad. Think so. I mean, half his face got blown off. Yeah. But the thing about this particular home invasion movie, I don't have many to compare it to that I've seen besides You're Next, which I did enjoy. A little bit different. But the perps kind of let things happen. They do something, and then they go quiet. And they allow the woman to almost radio for help. They allow her to almost crawl out of the way, but they just time it all so right. Yeah. And basically at the end, the 2 are tied to the chair by the 3 murderers, and she said, why are you doing this to us? I don't understand why you do this to us. And one of the girls says, 'cause you were home. And that was an awesome punch. Like, I saw that as all a setup, to that punchline, because you were home, which I loved. And you watch them, it's day now, and you watch them stab them both. Basically. Jeez. I mean, there's really no good ending. The woman is alive by the end, but I don't think she's gonna make it because, Anyway, so the first thing I want to talk about with this was that it was based on true events. So they say these are the Hoyt family murders. These are a fictional couple that were never actually murdered. There's a blog spot actually dedicated to their memory, correcting facts about the case, and it's almost a little bit believable. But if you just delve a little bit deeper, you can see that all of it's bullshit. They were never real. They were saying the explanation for not finding any true articles about the Hoyt murders was because the family paid to have mention of them removed from the internet completely. Good luck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how the hell does that happen?
No, so that's not real. And basically what it actually is based on is that the director said, as a kid, I lived in a house on a street in the middle of nowhere, and one night while our parents were out, somebody knocked on the front door, and my little sister answered it. At the door were some people asking for somebody who didn't live there. We later found out that these people were knocking on doors in the area, and if no one was home, breaking into the houses. So that's all. That's all. Yeah. There were no murders. There was nothing. Yeah. So, also, he based it a bit on Helter Skelter. Oh. You see the ringleader man and then the 2 women following him, and it's a little reminiscent of the Manson murders, I would suppose. Because you can tell these women are kind of fanatical about this I don't know if you can tell really, but you can just tell by the fact that they've come to kill this family and they're dedicated to this man who's obviously their ringleader. It's a little Manson-esque. Other people say it's related to the Ketty cabin murders, but I didn't really find anything besides that it was a murder in the middle of nowhere that was similar. It's like a regular old unsolved murder. There's plenty of cases like this, basically. It's just they haven't been solved, so it's creepier. I want to talk about some of the things that I liked about it. Basically, I think that kind of rejected proposal thing hit me really hard because I thought, like, what if I was in a fight with the person I loved and then that happened and none of it ever got resolved and then you realize that you really did love them? You know, that's like because an experience like that will solidify anyone's connection.
Yeah.
But that, it's just like that in itself is horrifying to me and really sad. And the setup was totally worth it. I liked the atmosphere because there wasn't a lot of, like, suspenseful music. It was all just kind of low-key. And in the background. And sounds you heard that startled you were more like the smoke alarm went off because there was an updraft in the fireplace. And, you know, she's trying to see who's in the house, but then the smoke alarm goes off, so she has to disable it. And they do a thing with a record player where the record plays backwards, I think. How is it? Yeah, I think it's record plays backwards. And it's really creepy.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is creepy.
So they really messed around with, like, jarring sounds and then silence because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Another thing I liked was that I don't think the characters are exactly dumb. Like, I think they did what they could have, like, what anyone would do in that situation. And, you know, it's easy to criticize characters in horror movies because it's like, let's see you try it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not there with all that adrenaline rushing through you, caught off guard. So there's that. But I also thought, like, it was a little too well choreographed. The murders all depended on the victims doing very specific things. And at no point did the plan of these murderers go wrong.
Yeah.
It was all a series of very intricately planned out things. Almost as if they were ghosts. Like, they would go out, run out, they would try to get in the car, and then the car was on fire suddenly, and they don't know how that could have happened. Like, how someone who could have got there that quickly. And it's all spooky, but it's also like you're pulling me out of the reality of something like that happening.
Yeah.
And then I feel like after the couple shot the friend on accident, they gave up on real self-defense. Like, at a point, I would just be like, come at me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because there's only so long you can play that game of trying to run and hide, and it would probably get really frustrating. It would probably be like, okay, come out, let's settle this.
Yeah.
Before, you know, because they're running around for hours. It's like 2 or 3 hours they're probably running around. I don't know if they show it in real time, but I'd be like, just, I'm done with this. That was part of the whole thing, was that psychological torture.
Yeah.
So, other than that, I really think this is a solid movie. I've seen it several times. Miranda hasn't seen it. Rachel, what do you think about it?
I've seen it. I really liked it. Have either of you guys ever seen the movie, either the original or the remake of Funny Games?
No, but it's on my list.
Okay, I almost did Funny Games for this. The Strangers, to me, was a lot like Funny. I mean, not quite like I would say inspired by Funny Games. Inspired by it without... I mean, Funny Games definitely has, like, a deeper message and meaning about the way that we watch violence on screen. The Strangers, I don't think, had that, but I really liked The Strangers, too. I mean, I thought it was fun. I mean, like you said, there were times where it was like, this is not believable, but I just kind of let it take me away.
Yeah.
I was just like, whatever. It's not believable, but I don't care. It's a fun movie.
I was watching the documentary, the short one they made that was on the DVD, about how they did it, and they built the house on a set, and the director was saying, I really just wanted people to feel like they were going through this with Liv's character, and I think that he definitely achieved that some of the time.
I agree, yeah.
But most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun, but it definitely reminded me of Funny Games.
I'll have to keep those parallels in mind when I watch Funny Games.
Which, if you can only find the American remake of Funny Games, that's fine. It's the same director, and it's pretty much shot for shot. He just remade it for American audiences. So they're both good. Both the American version and the original Austrian version are great.
That was nice of him to do for America.
Yeah, I think because especially Americans like to watch our violence in movies, but then are horrified when there's violence in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also like to watch it.
Right.
I mean, when you drive past a car accident, what's the first thing you do? You look out the window.
Yeah, and that's half the time. That's why traffic slows down. It doesn't have to slow down most of the time, but it does because everyone's looking.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to slow down and look. Yep. And then you're like, well, since we're slowed down anyway, I may as well look too.
I just wanted to say, so you mentioned that it was like extremely like well choreographed by the strangers, I guess. I would like to say, though, I think that those instances are horrifying, even though they aren't completely accurate. I think it's terrifying to see people who know human beings so well and who can enter a house and know what they're doing so well that you're just like, you know, a mouse in a cage and the cat is coming for you and you can't do anything, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that even though it isn't entirely accurate, I think it is terrifying to experience something like that.
Right. And it just made me think that maybe they had been watching them for a while before this even happened. Yeah. Just to know, like, to case the scene, basically. Just to know the layout of the house and the barn and who drove what cars and stuff like that. That is scary.
Yeah,
too.
It is. It's very scary. Everything done there.
Well, it reminded me of, do you guys know about Richard Speck? He was in, like, Joliet, I think, or no, Aurora.
He killed the nurses, right? Or am I getting that mixed up?
Yeah, so Miranda, did you see the first season of American Horror Story?
Yes.
Okay, so the episode where the killers show up at the house, like the groupies of the serial killer who had killed the nurses.
Yeah.
That's based on Richard Speck.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to this house that was like full of college nursing students and knocked on the door and said he had been like in an accident and he was injured and they let him in and he killed like everybody except one girl who I think hid under her bed. But this movie reminded me of that too.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know, I asked all the murderinos and no one came up with Richard Speck, but that's really close. Because it was the whole knocking on the door. Is someone, you know, just trying to gain access? And the thing I remembered was that, like, he had blood on his head or something, and they went to...
Yeah, he made it seem like he was actually injured.
Yeah, they went to wipe it off, and they couldn't find the source of the wound, and that's when... that moment... If I could have been a fly on the wall at that moment where that energy changed in the room.
Yeah.
And they realized it wasn't someone who actually needed help.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That would have probably been the scariest thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, I live certainly not in the middle of nowhere. There's houses around me, but we do have a huge chunk of woods that we own. And let me tell you, when I'm home alone, I don't answer the door. Even if it's very obvious that there are people home, I don't answer the door. It's not going to happen, and the door is, like, locked at all times.
Yeah, usually there's no reason for people to be knocking on your door if you live out in the middle of nowhere, unless you're expecting someone to come.
No.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people don't even really knock on the door anyways anymore. You know?
Jake's dad knocked on our door like a month or so ago, and I didn't recognize him because it had been a while since I'd seen him. So there's this guy with a hat outside. Is Jake there? And I'm like, yeah. I'm going. I'm gonna let you in. But it was just Jake's dad. I'm like, oh, now I'm really embarrassed.
That's funny. All right.
But yeah. So, hey, Rachel, do you have a recommendation?
I don't have one this week. I was just thinking that. No, nothing has come out that I've seen lately. I've just been watching The Handmaid's Tale and American Gods, which are still great. And Brian Fuller, who does American Gods, has been, like, out talking up doing Hannibal season 4. So I don't know if it's I know they couldn't do it because, first of all, nobody watched the show, so got canceled. But they couldn't get the rights to The Silence of the Lambs. So I don't know if there's a possibility that they're going to get it, and maybe a streaming service will pick it up. I mean, that would be great, but...
Ooh, I'd
anyway,
love to see
if you guys haven't watched Hannibal, a beautiful show. The food, which, like, you know the whole time is people is so beautifully presented that, like, you're like, that looks delicious, and then you're like, wait, that's a person.
I don't know if I can handle somebody that's not Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal, though. Hannibal
God, Mads Mikkelsen is so good.
I don't know, but I really love Hannibal. He's one of my favorites.
I do too, but I've heard he's super dreamy, and that he brings a different take to it.
Oh God, that's not good.
I know, it's disturbing.
I don't need any more of those.
It's not played up as like, oh, what a babe. It's played up as he's obviously a handsome man, which, I mean, young Anthony Hopkins was a handsome man, but that makes people automatically kind of trust you. Like, oh, but he's good looking, and he's educated, and he wears these beautiful, I mean, I think the man sleeps in a 3-piece suit.
Jeez.
Like, I cannot picture him in pajamas. And that's the thing. So who would ever suspect that he was this monster? Yeah. I mean, he kind of seems like this perfect. Oh, it's so good. It's beautifully shot and beautifully written and really well acted. And like I said, the food is just amazing. And then you remember that it's people.
I mean, pork. I'm kidding. I'm a vegetarian, so that was all bluff. Mostly.
So yeah, Hannibal, I guess, would be my recommendation. It's all on Amazon if everybody has Amazon Prime.
I did want to say, though, I watched The Bye Bye Man.
Was it good?
No.
I didn't think it would be.
Terrible. It was so bad. It was like my parents wanted to watch it, and I was like, why? I said it looked bad when they first did the trailers. When it came out, everybody hated it, and now you want to watch it? It's like, why? And so they were like, oh, should we just not watch it? And I was like, no, if you're going to watch it, then I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to sit through it, and I need to see how terrible it is.
Because one must expose oneself to all sorts of things.
Yes, and I knew at one point somebody was going to ask me about it, so I was like, I just need to watch this damn movie, and it was a waste of time. Like, it wasn't even so bad that it was fun to watch. It was just bad.
It was just a waste of time. Yeah, like you said, just a waste of time.
Yeah, and the acting...
Like, I could have been sleeping.
Yeah, the acting just, like, hurt my soul. I hate bad acting. I can't sit through anything that has bad acting. It just kills me, and so bad.
And that's the thing. It wasn't like you said, it wasn't so bad that it was fun.
Yeah.
There was a movie called, I can't even remember, The Witch Hunter or something. Anyway, it had Nicolas Cage in it.
No, the last Witch Hunter, that was Vin Diesel.
That was Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
This was a different movie, though.
Oh.
It's something with a witch. But it had Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman in it. And the acting was terrible. But that if you like bad movies, that movie is like a religious experience. Like, it's so horrible.
That's funny.
It's so... I mean, it ends with Ron Perlman headbutting the devil. You can't... I think that...
Oh my god. That sounds great, though. That sounds like something I would really enjoy seeing.
Oh my gosh, that's my fault. I'm sorry.
I, like, bumped the table.
That was from Headbutting the Devil.
Yeah.
I just did it. Oh, yeah.
Season of the Witch. This is Nicolas Cage, Ron Perlman, Christopher Lee is in it because why not?
I remember that movie.
It's ridiculous.
I thought I liked it, but I don't...
I'm reading a book
I don't remember.
I'm reading a book called Season of the Witch by Natasha Mostert. I wonder if that has any relation whatsoever.
Probably not.
That's just a coincidence. That's so weird. It doesn't sound like the plot synopsis of the book doesn't sound... Why do we keep dropping our microphone?
I'm sorry, it's all my fault.
It's falling apart.
I have a spider bite on my leg, and it's...
The plot synopsis does not sound like a Nicolas Cage movie, so I'm gonna say that they're probably unrelated.
Doesn't Nicolas Cage have long hair in this movie?
Yes, it's a medieval... you can see that, like, maybe they thought they were making, like, this medieval, like, hard-hitting medieval film about witch hunts, but, like, no.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it. I should go back and rewatch it, because I don't remember it well enough.
I mean, one of the reviews is Nicolas Cage pays tribute to Monty Python with Season of the Witch.
What?
Oh my god!
Like, it's not supposed to be Monty Python.
She turned me into a newt.
I got better.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It's not, like, supposed to be Monty Python movie. I mean, it's just so ridiculous that it gets to that level. I highly recommend that movie, but only if you like bad movies.
That's
if
hilarious.
you do not like bad movies, you will not like it. But if you love so bad they're hilarious movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best out there.
I also wanted to mention that Preacher is coming back at the end of June 25th. Have you guys, either of you seen Preacher?
Yeah.
I love that show. It is so fucking funny. It just kills me every time. And it's coming back June 25th. So I highly recommend that show. It's a horror comedy. I don't really want to explain it because just everything about it is so funny. So that's my recommendation.
I have one. It's not for a movie or a TV show, but I got a coloring book called The Beauty of Horror by Alan Roberts.
Oh, you got
and
it.
It is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. In fact, it says it is a gorgeous coloring book. It's like a little story. While you color, you have to find all these objects too. It's like a masterpiece. And there's 2 of them. There's a version 2. But I'm going to start with this one because it's very intricate. I got my friend one for her birthday as well, and I think she enjoyed it. So if you like to color and also like really gross things, you should take a look into. I think I got it for like $9 on Amazon, which is not bad at all considering the cover price is $17.99. Mm-hmm. So check that out. Yeah.
I want that really bad. I have a Game of Thrones coloring book that I use when I'm stressed out.
Yeah. We sell that one, I think. I think we still sell that one.
It's pretty nice. It's really intricate too. It's
Get out my red crayon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're about done for tonight. Next week, we're going to be doing a discussion of the Evil Dead franchise. So I have a lot of movies to watch because I think I've only seen 2 of them.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited to talk about it because I really like the original.
Those movies are so great.
Oh, God, I can't wait. We'll have to talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead, too, because that show is pretty close to beating out Game of Thrones for me. And that's really saying something because I'm, like, obsessed with Game of Thrones. So this show is just fantastic.
It's a good show.
It kills me. I can't wait for it to come back. I miss it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, that episode will be out next Monday. Monday after next.
Yay.
And then, well, I don't want to get too far ahead, but we have some pretty good stuff coming up. That's it. We still haven't figured out how to end the worst parts of a podcast are the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Like, what do you say?
Thanks for listening to us talk for an hour.
Who is it who signs their posters with Sweet Nightmares or something?
Oh, I don't know.
There's some.
That sounds like something Robert Englund would do, but
yeah, it's not him, but it's some like horror giant. Sweet Nightmares.
I don't know.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. Eventually, it'll be some random ass inside joke we come up with.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.